of Public Service and Administration, who also was wearing our T-shirt during the processes of Nazareth. We want to remind him that that T-shirt was not a, what Kosatu say, is not a free what? Blank check. He must deliver salaries because we had campaigned for him. Unfortunately, it did not make it, but it's not our fault. We did our best. He must do his. He must be fired in favor of us if we have acted against what government is saying. But for now, he's in a position of authority. He must give us what is due to us, which we're supposed to get it on the 1st of April. That's the message that we're sending. We hope that they shall heed to our call and do so favorably. Otherwise, on the 10th September 2020, it will be clear that there is no more turning back. Today it was nice, we're working with the acting CEO. We are joined by the CEO. But that's from the 10th. This kind of a relationship will be suspended. We are an employer. That we are at war to protect our members, including their kids, by the way. They behave as if we are not saving their families and relatives. We do. We are not differentiating or discriminating anyone as and when they come to hospital. We attend to them, yet they are not paying us what is due to us. So to advance our members' demand and to defend our gains, and there is no turning back. Amandla.
No, let's welcome the message and allow Comrade John PC to come and do his and deliver a message of support.
Isip salabafana osinkumbuza olifatam. Isip salabafana osinkumbuza olifatam. Oh, ibambe niwe bafana, ibambe niwe zinsizwa, ibambe niwe bafana. Amanda. Good afternoon, comrades. Abafundisi bami lo kuselo pastor working class. So thank you very much, chairperson of the region. But let me acknowledge the General Secretary of our Federation, COSATU, the General Secretary of Nehawu, Comrade Zola, Sapeta, the Provincial Secretary of COSATU in the province, Comrade Louisa, my fellow fighter in the province. Not that other fighter, but the fellow fighter in real terms. The National Secretary of the YCL, the President of SASCO, the MEC. As you can see, we are doing up and down. Me and him are deployed in Parliament, so in the Gauteng legislature, so we are voting, so that's why we have to be online. on a matter that is so important, Nopala, the insourcing of workers who were outsourced by the gear policy. So we are pushing that the Gauteng legislature and the departments in Gauteng must actually insource the workers. So our deployment, Comrade GS, it's a correct one, so we are pushing the struggle. But comrades, first I want to salute the workers, the frontline workers, who are from time to time facing serious challenges. We want to salute those that have passed on during this difficult period of the COVID-19. But as the Communist Party, we are much concerned, comrades, and with the collective America on its onslaught on the Cubans. When he said, I quote, "Our country doesn't drop bombs on the people. We don't have biological or nuclear bombs. We train our doctors to help other nations. We send an army of white overalls," close quote. And this is the quotation I remember during this difficult period, where we have to fight a pandemic that is killing our people, a pandemic that has ravaged our country. At a personal level, I've lost 3 of my family members who died because of COVID-19. Must actually make sure that we stop corruption, the rampant corruption, this scandal of the PPEs. And in our country, this has happened in our province. To make sure that our government implement that report. We are calling on the law enforcement agencies to work around the clock to urgently make sure that all those that are implicated are brought to book because of these disgusting actions that takes from the working class and the poor during this time of crisis. We are also disgusted by the fact that the National Treasury has now actually went out to say that we must have austerity measures in making sure that we fight COVID-19 and make sure that the austerity measures do not apply when it comes to the health workers, particularly those who are in the front line. We're saying that during this period, we must focus massively on real deficit facing this country, the social deficit of unemployment, poverty, and inequality that is running out of control in our country. Program Director, employment in our country is, we say that the neoliberal policies in our country and the politics of cutting off the budget must be stopped with immediate effect. At a time of deepening poverty and hunger, we are daily exposed in the long queues waiting to collect food parcels. Sometimes these food parcels do not reach the rightful owners. So the austerity measures for the working class and the poor does not work. At this time of the widening income and wealth inequality, we say no to the fiscal austerity. In conclusion, Chair, as we support this initiative by the National Union, that we must come here today to this national program to come and pray and support the workers who are working in the hospitals. We are saying, as the Communist Party, we are going to be in the forefront of pushing our government to do the right thing. We cannot go back to the crisis before this crisis. The crisis when, before COVID-19, we know there was a crisis of economy. We know there was a crisis of infrastructure challenges in our country. And we're saying that we cannot go back there. There's money. If the country, Comrade GS of COSATU, if the president can make available an amount back that our government did not use the township manufacturers of the PPEs. We are worried that in each and every platform, when leaders speak in different platforms, they normally said we must enhance and build the township economy. And in this case, we haven't seen that given to the township to manufacture the PPEs. This could have stimulated the economy in our own province. But this hasn't happened. Instead, what we have seen friends, companies, the car wash, which does not have the SABS approval, being given tenders to manufacture the PPEs. And this, as the Communist Party, we are saying no to that. And we are saying that in the next round, when the tender is out, it must be an open tender that a Gauteng government must actually have. Failure which we are going to support Nehawu and the Federation to continue to fight for proper PPEs, to fight for proper working conditions of workers, to make sure that the working class is not pushed back by the liberals within our own province. We are also going to push for the implementation of the national health insurance as agreed by the movement as a whole, because the current system is fragmented. There's a system for the poor and there's a system for the rich, and yet the majority of those that are passing are the working class and the poor in our province. So, Chairperson, this is the message of our party, and we want to say to you, General Secretary of Nehawu, please convey our message to the leadership that the party in this province is 100% behind this particular program of making sure that those that are corrupt must go to jail, and must make sure that the working class is actually been given a better health for all. Thank you very much.
Amandla awethu ma comrade wami ngoba isikhathi as ngiyambuza unobhala la ukuthi ilunch ikhona na uthi ayikho. So I will try to be very short. Ku leadership yonke ekhona na comrade angiseke ngisakwazi ukunibiza ngamagama, ikakhulukazi abafundisi, word of encouragement, word of hope, ikhathi ezinje ziyazibadinga abafundisi. To the leadership of Nehawu, comrade, we want to say, do what is right, not what is easy or popular. Do what is right, not what is easy or what is popular. Your decision to remember all those workers in the front line, not Nehawu members, and paying respect not to Nehawu members, to all those members who perish in the fight to save our life. I think we need at all times, when we remember these frontline workers, to say they die because they saved my life. And those who have gone through the process, the unfortunate process, will know this from the experience. Will know this from the experience. Many people, including the General Secretary, We only know now why in a hospital the infants, when they sleep facing down. We only know now. We only know now ukuthi how umntwana you thought ukuthi no man ulele kabuhlungu why bamlalisa so. But we know now during this time that the intention is to relieve your lungs so that they can be able to fight for this coronavirus. So I want to join the words of encouragement, the words of hope, because time like this, comrade, compel us to keep the healthcare workers in our thought and prayers at all times. You know, comrade, during the apartheid times, when there was a boycotts and everything that was going with, we were health workers when they were in uniform. People would give them lift because people understand their contribution. That ungayishini esendleleni ngalifuni lift ujahele la esibhedlela to find out ukuthi the nurse that's supposed to help you is the one that you failed to give a lift somewhere else. So in all times, we must keep them in our prayers and in our minds. So we are thankful to the leaders of the faith-based organization by giving us hope. That times like this is sometimes as when you remember there is a creator somewhere, there's somebody else that may help me in this situation wherever I am. Time like this demanded from the leadership of Nehawu to lead. It is not an easy decision that the Nehawu NEC took. But of course, there will be criticism. There will be criticism, but that is leadership. Leadership goes with criticism. You'll be criticized, you bring more than 50 people here, and etc., etc. And we hope we'll be all there to defend and justify while you have to do what you need to do. To those departed, they are really our heroes and heroines. We'll always remember their contribution. But of course, comrade, during difficult times like this, we might be praying singers to them and we forget them. Very soon, we forgot that there was a COVID and that there were people who contributed their life. We hope, Nehawu, in your diaries of remembrance, you will always create some space that we must remember those who have departed trying to save our life. Other people said health workers have no choice. No, they do have choice. They could have taken leave. Other workers have been suspended for refusing to do a dangerous work in terms of our laws. And others have been dismissed. And the union must do the right thing. Do what is right, not what is easy or what is popular. You have to defend these workers, Comrade Nehawu. To you, comrade members who are here, we said you must never give up. You must mobilize and unite workers, all workers. Here, comrade, we are all in the same battles. The person next to you is the person that you'll need. And I've seen a doctor when they are wearing their gowns. You know, when you wear these gowns, you can't control some of the buttons on your back. So you need somebody you trust that as he closes this overall and everything, he won't expose you to these dangers. Those are your comrade. Build strong people. But to our government, and I don't want to spend time on this, safe to say, Comrade Joe, whenever the people who have elected on their own, they must talk to one another. Please listen to what people say, particularly what the trade unions are saying. Just pay time and listen. Comrade Madiba normally says listening is a skill. You learn to listen. Do what is right, provide to the government. They must do what is right. They must provide and protect and defend the frontline workers. They must respect the laws that they've put in place. They must defend the collective bargaining. They must respect the agreement they've signed. They signed this agreement soberly. We don't sign this agreement during the evening. We sign this agreement during work times with the understanding that those who represent our government are sober. They can't say the agreement is right on year 1, is right on year 2, then on year 3 they say the agreements are illegal. It cannot be, comrade. We'll have to defend the implementation of these agreements. And lastly, comrade, we all agree we must fight corruption. Joel and comrade, if you are still here, but we must whisper to the leaders of to understand that when people that elect corrupt politicians are not to understand politicians ask themselves, is not the I'm not the victim, because that corrupt politician was elected by me. So our government, while we celebrate, and we should celebrate the efforts that we have made and the achievement that we have made, but we must remember, comrade, government must remember, we are number 6 in the world. Now 5. We are the worst, comrade. We are number 1 on inequality. We are one of the countries where we are the racism on the majority is carried by the minority. In America, people are complaining about racism. But in America, the blacks are the minority. And they complain about racism. They are not in power. Here, we are the majority, but we complain about racism. What kind of a nation we are, comrade? So we must know that we may not be moving. We might be staying in South Africa forever. When we are Swazini, but no, remember, you are number 5 in the world. When you go to Lesotho, they must say the same. And we said, comrade, sometimes it takes a wrong turn to arrive at the right destination. And our government must know that we are really, really in the struggles about the performance of our government to its own people. Thank you very much, comrades, for listening. I know I promised short, but maybe I was just, I know that one of the after effects, Doctor, of COVID-19 is to forget. I forgot that I promised you a short.
Thank you very much, COSATU General Secretary. I've rendered the services of a chairperson. Those services expired, the chairperson has gone, so I must take back my program. But I'm told that I must kindly acknowledge the presence of Dr. Makanya, the Chief Nursing Officer, National Department of Health. If you can wave, I'm told you are somewhere. Dr. Makanya, yes, you are acknowledged. Dr. Marais, Director Nursing Practice, you are acknowledged. Thank you very much. Comrades, we're now moving to getting a message from government, which was supposed to be delivered by the Minister of Health. I'm told that the acting MEC of Health, Comrade Jacob Mamavulo, will do so on behalf of government. Comrade Jacob Mamavulo, the platform is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Program Director, for the opportunity. Let me, on behalf of the provincial government and government, extend, firstly, let me start with the apology of Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, who has asked me to represent him here and to convey his sincere apologies. And I'll plead with the leadership to accept the apology of the minister. Having said that, let me greet all of his bearers present here, led by the General Secretary of Nehawu, Comrade Zola, Nopala, Comrade Becky. I'm here. I was just outside. I did notify Comrade Zola about why myself and Comrade Joe, who is here on behalf of the party, were outside. And of course, Comrade Chairman, Comrade Jompi is on behalf of the party. Let me take this opportunity, comrades, to acknowledge all the leaders of Nehawu in the province and at all the region and all level, including those right here in Bara. The management of and leadership of Bara is here. Our senior managers from national, the province. I would like to acknowledge you. I'm aware that we are behind time. I'd like to be very brief. Comrade Beggy said he was going to be brief, but then at the end he said he couldn't meet that target. I would like to do better, Nopala, and be very brief. Let me also just acknowledge the National Secretary of the Young Communist League, fraternal organizations. I'm aware that SASCO is here. I'm not sure if COSAS is present, but I'd like to acknowledge all MDM formations. The church leaders, religious leaders, all of them, bishops and pastors who have actually played a very good role in making this event successful. I'd like to acknowledge them. I take it that I've not left any leader without acknowledging them. Let me apologize in advance if that will be the case. Now, to the leadership of Nehawu, COSATU, the party, and the whole alliance, I'd like to just make a few points. And thanks for extending the invitation. But we must also commend you. We must really convey a message of appreciation for extending the invitation, but also for organizing what will stand out as a memorable event to remember all those martyrs, all those comrades, and defending the lives of others against the spread of COVID-19, but also for their service to the people, and most importantly to the people of our country and to all the patients. We really want at this point to express our sincere condolences to those workers in private and public who lost their lives in the line of duty. Also, allow me to salute these martyrs and reaffirm that together with all organizations and all the leaders that are here and all of you present here, and as the General Secretary of COSATU was saying, we should all make sure that we do not forget them moving forward. We should always have them in our memories, and we should all, in their true words and in their true action, commit to serving the people of our country, and may their soul rest in eternal peace. I'd also like to take this opportunity to convey our condolences to their families, because we should always have their families again in our memories, and we should extend solidarity and fraternal support and salute to their families, that we will always remember their loved ones. Let me also continue to assure all the workers in private and public, and yourselves here in the leadership, that government is unwavering in its commitment to protect the lives of all workers. And in so doing, we commit to make sure that we provide personal protective equipment, PPE, to all workers so that they can be able to play the part to which they've committed their lives to serve humanity and to protect lives. And in our commitment to provide PPE to protect all workers, we commit to provide adequate and enough PPE to the workers. We also commit to ensure that we provide quality PPE, because PPE that has defects and is not up to the right level of quality is as good as not being there. So the principles of quality PPE, of sufficient, quantitatively easily accessible, easy to find, readily available PPE are the principles that we wish to commit to. I also want to take this opportunity to say that not only PPE, but all forms of support that is required to protect workers will be provided. And I must also commend the leadership of Nehawu and of course all fraternal organizations for having stood very firm on a principled commitment to make sure that lives of workers are protected, and for demanding from government and being consistent on that, to make sure that we work hard and work even much more harder to provide workers with personal protective equipment that is of good quality so that we can save their life. I would like to assure all workers of our commitment to ensure that all forms of support, psychological and any other support that's required, including those who are affected already by COVID-19, we will continue to provide them with support required. I'd like to also assure you that, and of course, the President of the Republic, President Cyril Ramaphosa, is leading all of us, and Premier David Makura in the province, to uphold the values that constitute the cornerstone of our country's constitution. And these are the values of transparency, of openness, and of, most importantly, of accountability. And that is why, in upholding the principles in the Constitution and the laws that it creates, we commit that every person who is found to be on the wrong side of the law, found to be corrupt, that person, without fear of favor or prejudice, will be held criminally liable. And government will make sure that we leave no stone unturned in going to the bottom and to the surface of every aspect of allegations of corruption. And I think we must also thank workers for their militant action in making sure that we defend the resources of the people, the public purse, and make sure that no person enriches themselves on the basis of resources that are meant for the people. So I want to assure you, leadership, that government will make sure that we uphold the values of our country's constitution, but also embed in every institution of government at all levels, make sure that we entrench and embed all those values that constitute the founding values of our country's constitution. And together with yourselves, let's hold hands, let's work together. As the President says, the battle against COVID-19 is in all of us hands, but so is the battle against corruption. And I'd like to salute all workers and leaders for standing firm in principles against fighting COVID-19 and equally fighting corruption. Now, let me conclude by saying, Comrades Order, thank you very much for organizing a very good event, to all the comrades for making sure that this is a very good event, and for extending your solidarity with every worker who has lost their life. And for that, I would like to commend you for very good leadership. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Acting MEC of Health in the province. Asibonge the message of support on behalf of government. And we must say, Comrade Mamabul, that as Gauteng Nehawu, we are not finding joy to get the Premier to confirm receipt of our memorandum on the 3rd. As you are here, if you can convey the message that we've written letter to the office of the Premier requesting him to come and receive our memorandum on the 3rd, which is Thursday. So we will please plead with yourself to pass that particular message to the office of the Premier. But thank you.
So we're sending 2 MCs to the Premier.
Okay, all right. No, thanks. I just wanted to convey that. Secondly, and lastly, comrades, we were running out of time really. abasebenzi, most of them I know ukuthi bahamba ngama public transport and so on, and there is another activity that we want to honor of releasing the balloons, and which would want these workers who are here to please join us as the last activity to release the balloons as we sing Hamba Kahle Mkhonto at the Freedom Square. So we just want to wrap up quickly so that we don't lose these members to join us as we're going to be releasing the balloons as we sing Hamba Kahle